it's Sydney from Sid Plans It Out. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're going to be setting up my January budget, which is bonkers to me, but here we are. Okay, I'm contemplating going back once I have my budget goals figured out for January and filling this out, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So I'll probably do that like off camera, but I'll show you in February if I remember, if I end up doing that. So let's actually do like the things. So I'm gonna do the monthly, and then I'm also going to fill out this page and then probably this page. And I like to, before I film these, go through and actually like figure things out. That way you're not like sitting here bored out of your gosh darn mind while I try to figure out my life. Especially like try to do math, because math is not my strong suit. But I realized that I actually don't need all three of those. I kind of thought I did, but I really don't, because like the bills for January, so I guess I should really do one thing at a time, but we're going to start here because this is where my brain went. So the bills for January, all of them are going to be paid by my end of December paycheck and then my mid-January paycheck. And then that last day, like the last paycheck in January, is going to pay February bills. So yeah, it's interesting, I guess, for this sheet. I really thought I would need all three of them, but then I started thinking about it and I was like, I really don't. And then for the paycheck breakdown, I'll do, because this is January, I'll do the January paycheck and then the other January paycheck, but this one's going to be mostly February bills. So it's interesting, but we'll see. Also, I'm not going to fill in all of these categories, I don't think. Like, I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Let's do the fun part first, and let's decorate this. Every time I start one of these videos, I'm just like, geez, Sydney, can you get your life together and like make a logical video? I don't think I can. Maybe someday, but today is not that day. All right, we're gonna use Functionally Chic Blue Blooms. I thought there were some in here that were like super wintry. There's not, but these are pretty good, unless I missed them. I mean, I did flip through this. Those are also not blue. Just throwing that out there, that's green, but what do I know? At least to me, it's green. Like, I don't know. I also really like those, and they feel kind of wintry because of the colors, but I'm not sure. Those are stunning. I love those. But yeah, there's not really any like wintry kind of florals in here. Like these, I don't know, these feel kind of wintry, but also like these feel more wintry. So we're gonna go with these. And then I'll just use the boxes out of here to mark all of my bills. So because I am I'm gonna tear this page out because these books just like, they're too much for my desk. Because I'm using like those extra sheets, I'm honestly just gonna decorate, like I'm gonna decorate this, and then I'm gonna put in like, this is a payday, and this is when a bill's due, and like all of that stuff, but it's not going to, I'm not gonna do as much with it, I don't think, because I created the other sheets. And I think that will be more beneficial to me to have like those other sheets. That's kind of my thought process. So that's what we're going to go with. We'll see. We'll try it out for January. If it's not something that I enjoy, then I can go back to the other way I was doing it. But we're gonna try something different for this month. So, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're having a good day. I'm freezing my booty off because it's cold outside. I'm gonna flip this over. and I'm gonna put this along the top here. Yeah, it's really cold, which, like, yeah, duh, it's January. I mean, it's January. It's December. Good Lord. It's not January yet, Sydney. Okay, so, like, yeah, it's cold, duh, but also, like, I hate when it gets cold here because it's gonna be cold for the next long time. Like, probably until, I mean, if we're lucky, if we're lucky, it'll stop being cold in, like, in March, but usually it's relatively cold still in March, which is unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. Whatever. I'm always curious. So, like, I know, like, for JoJo from JoJo's Pretty Paper Shop, she lives in South Dakota, which, crazy. No, thank you. Pass. Because it's cold enough here in the middle of the country in Kansas. I cannot handle the concept of how cold it must get there. I know how cold it gets there because she's been posting it on Instagram. And I know I've been talking about how cold it is here too. But I'm just like, good Lord. So I'm always curious, does it get cold where you guys live? Because there's other people that I follow on Instagram that, like, live in California and they're still out there, like, living their best lives. Although they think it's cold. It's definitely not, but it's cold for them. You know, cold, I feel like, is kind of relative to where you live a lot of times. But it just makes me laugh when I see people posting, like, who live in California and they're like, it's so cold, and it's like 40 degrees, and I'm like, wow. Or not even 40, it's like 50 degrees, and they're like, it's so cold, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish it was 50 degrees. Like, it's freezing here. It's currently 21 degrees outside, which is just joyous. Really, I love it. Yay. Not. I had to go somewhere today. Like, I had to leave my apartment, and I was very sad. I was going to go into the office to work today, and then it was cold, and then I wasn't feeling it. It wasn't going to happen. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. It was too much. Yeah. Okay. Also, I had an appointment, so I couldn't really, like, I mean, I could have left work early. I mean, I did, but I don't know. It's always, you have to let me know if you work from home. Do you, or, like, you know, work hybrid, like I kind of do, where, like, we have an office to go into, but, like, we don't have to go ever. I don't know what happened to these, I guess when I transferred my planner, like, from the original discs to these discs, it did not cooperate because these are driving me bonkers. But you'll have to let me know if you work in, like, a hybrid environment, or you work from home, but, like, you used to work in an office or something. Do you feel like it's easier and, like, less, like, you need to let someone know or whatever that you're leaving early to go do something when you're working at home than when you're in an office? Because I for sure feel that way. Like, I'll put it on my calendar, but, like, you know, there's no one to really, like, answer to except myself, right? I'm gonna punch these holes with my crocodile before I forget. But there's no one really to answer to, right? Like, no one is watching my status, making sure that I'm online or whatever. Like, it's up to me to get my own work done, which I feel like is how it should be anyway, because, like, we're all adults, right? But I feel like I would have felt so weird going into the office and then being like, hey, gotta leave early. But I also would have had to leave, like, a lot earlier because our office is a lot farther away from where my appointment was than, like, me going from my house, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but it's kind of, it was just less stressful, I guess. I don't know. To be like, okay, I'm gonna just leave for this because no one's really, like, watching me, right? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but it is what it is. All right, let's grab some boxes. This is like my favorite. It doesn't really match, but honestly, neither of these blues really match. Yeah, neither of them are great. Like, none of them are great. So I think I'm just gonna do whatever I want. All right, let's just put some of these in. So we have Rent, and let's just use this blue because it's pretty and I like it. Rent and Patreon. And then, oh, I'm also not gonna put in, because I'm using those other pages, I'm not gonna put in like all the extra boxes at the bottom and like on the sides and stuff like I have been, because I don't really need them now if I'm using those other pages. That was kind of another reason why I wanted to use those, is because it was starting to feel repetitive like in the monthly, which I know it's still gonna be like kind of repetitive on that paper, but I don't know, that feels less repetitive to me. I don't know, that doesn't really make sense, but it's kind of how I feel about it. So that's what we're going with. All right, 2 on the second, and then the 7th, there's a bill due. And I'm just gonna use these boxes to just write what the bill is, because again, I don't need to put all of those other details like I was putting, since I'm going to be like into the monthly, since I'm going to have those other pages. I also hope that this video doesn't take 72 years, but I have not like stopped talking and just like, you know, done things. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully this video is not super long. And then to mark paydays, what if I just use these bullets? These are kind of fun. All right. Okay, I'm going to write in all of the things, and then I will be back, because I don't think that you need to watch me write the names of all of these bills. Probably not. I don't think that would be very exciting. Okay, I'll be right back. I don't know why I felt the need to write them in cursive, but I did. Oh, this hasn't taken as long as I thought it had, but also like probably longer than it should have. However, I kind of just want to add some more florals in, because why not? Since I'm not going to be like writing a bunch of stuff in here necessarily, I might as well just make it pretty, right? I think so. Like, I put in all the things I need. Let's make it nicer to look at. I feel like, I do have to say, I feel like I haven't been looking at this as much as I probably should. And I honestly believe that part of that reason is because I don't like usually decorate it, but it's just so much easier to like convince myself to look at something and like to want to look at something if it's pretty, which is, you know, 97% of the reason why I do decorative planning, and I don't just like use paper and a pen. You know, I feel like that's a lot of the reason why a lot of us do this. There's definitely also a part of me that, you know, does this because it's creative and it makes me feel good. But, you know, let's see if I can really quickly find just like a New Year's quote or something. Some quote that makes me happy. And maybe is like, or maybe something that's about like, here, this one. That's the one. It may not be easy, but it will be worth it. That is the vibe going into, whoops, sorry. Going into budgeting in 2023. I kind of want to put this here. And then I also saw the one that said nevertheless, she persisted. I kind of want to use that one too. So I'm going to. And I'm going to put it down here. And then I'm going to get rid of this book off of my desk because it doesn't even want to stay open. It's driving me crazy. All right. Oh, that was Rainbow Quotes by Kelva Plan, by the way. Okay. Oh man, I love this so much more now. All right, there's just this one floral left, so like I have to use it. It's the rules. Not really, but it feels like it should be. It feels like it should be the rules. It feels like the rules just in general. We're gonna put this here and then pray that I can get it off of my desk since it stuck itself down. All right, where am I gonna put this last piece? I guess up here because I cut it with a straight edge, so might as well. All right, my monthly is done. It's very pretty. I like it a lot. And like I said, I feel like everything is more motivating when it's colorful and like decorated. So there is the monthly all ready to go. I wish that I would have, I'm kind of feeling like this might need to be 2 videos because that took me a while. But you know what? It's okay. We're gonna do the basics, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how long it takes. Okay, so the monthly is all cute and filled out, ready to go back in my planner. I'm honestly just gonna put it back because I might as well. Oh, it looks kind of cool with these discs too. I dig. Okay, so there's the monthly. And then I have, like I said, I do a lot of like, I guess pre-planning when it comes to this video to make sure that I'm not, you know, taking forever. Okay, so income. So the date here will be 1/13. I also might end up getting some YouTube revenue in January. I'm not sure though. You have to like reach a certain threshold before they will pay it out, which makes sense because they don't want to pay it out if it's like nothing. So yeah, we'll see on that one. Okay. What is the difference? Oh, I was like, what's the difference between these? Okay, so expenses, this would be like stuff that I'm gonna put, this would be, so like groceries. This one I'm gonna come back to, I think. Okay, and then source here would be work. And then I'll put the amount in when I know it because, well, actually that might be one of the ones that I do know. So we have like, we get paid odd, like kind of strange. But this one should be, I'm gonna put this in here and hope that it's right. The one for the 31st, I don't know for sure what it's gonna be yet because we haven't had a paycheck with that many hours on it since I started working there. So that one should be that because it should be in just like a straight 80-hour paycheck. Okay, so continuing. Expenses. So groceries, what else do I usually like put aside money for? I mean, sinking funds, but that's different. So I guess expenses would just be groceries. And then sinking funds here, I'm not sure. I could put sinking funds. I don't know. We'll see. All right, bill here. So on the 13th, I'll pay Amex $75. It's due on the 16th. And then this is kind of cool. And then I can write like when I paid it. Oh, that's kind of nifty. Okay. This is from Plan with Elise, by the way. This is one of her printables that she offers in her Etsy shop. In case you wanted to go check that out, I will try to remember to link her Etsy shop. down below. And then, all right, let's fill these in first. So Kindle, and then this paycheck, I will take out some for rent for the next month. And then 2 for Discover. I feel like this was like made to do what I've been doing. Maybe I should have downloaded this a while ago. I mean, I did kind of, I mean, pretty much. I modeled my budgeting after the way that Elise does her budgeting, and she created this to like use for herself. So I guess that makes sense, but you know. Okay, so there's all of the bills and the expenses. Yeah, I think it's just going to like kind of fluctuate based on if that's right. And then I'll go in and fill the rest of it out later. And then the back would be just kind of the same. I probably should have started with this one. You guys, I'm a disaster. I'm so sorry. Ay, ay, ay. All right, let's do this one first because I feel like this one makes more sense to do first. So this, I'm just going to write in all of the bills for the month of January. So I have all of that filled out. Now what I plan to do with this, with the rest of this, is to put in like the amount. So for January, I know that the amount is $1106.69. And I know that on the 30th, because I already have part of this in my like separate account that I use to hold bill money. That way I don't like, you know, accidentally overspend it or something like that from my like checking account. So I have like a separate account for this. But so on the 30th, I know that I'm going to need $556.69 in order to get the rest of that from there. So I know that. And then on the 13th, I will have some that I'm taking out for rent, but it'll be for February. So I could do this one of two ways. I could write in February and then write in what I'm going to put, or, which I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do that because for the month of January, like there's nothing from that. Oh, that's why I had those. I remember now my thought process with the 3 here. My thought process was to do, well, actually, I don't know. I was thinking like, oh, my thought process was to do like everything that's going to contribute to this, but maybe not. I don't know. I could do it that way. So what I was thinking before I interrupted myself was what I could have done is I could have put the 15th here also, because the 15th is going to have paid a couple things, but it's only a couple. So like part of rent and then part of this bill, which is my car payment. That's really it though. Oh, and then part of Discover and part of City. So I could, if I wanted to, like what I could do in February is do like the 13th, the 31st, or the 13th, the 31st, and then the whatever the first payday is in February, if I wanted to, in order to catch all of that. But I feel like if I'm using this also, I don't need that, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm not good at explaining this because my ADHD brain is not good at explaining this, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. I just kind of know like what I'm gonna do with it and what my desire is for it and how I want it to work. So yeah, that's really all I have there. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. If it does, let me know. If it doesn't, also let me know. And maybe I'll try to like I don't know, write something out on like how I make this work, but I feel like seeing it makes it make sense. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like it does. I hope it makes sense. At least maybe a little bit. Like, maybe not 100% because, you know, things are hard to explain from an ADHD brain sometimes. But, yeah. Okay. So I wrote in the rest of the amounts. And then, so I know with this 12/30 paycheck, I'm going to pay part of rent. I know I'm going to pay Patreon, and then that one won't have anything to do with that. I know I'm going to pay another section of Discover. And sometimes I'll pay like more than what's actually here. So like I already paid more, like this will add more to like than what I actually need because, you know, it's a credit card and it's nice to do that. This will also pay this. And then, yeah, this isn't going to work out quite the way I thought it would in my brain, but that's okay. So like pretty much all of these ones before the 13th are going to be paid with this paycheck. So I won't need those. And then all of the ones, yeah, I think it'll make sense once I have it filled in. Maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong. I have that all filled in now. And let me try to make this make more sense. Okay, so I know that on the 1st, I have rent due. And this is how much left that I need to pay that rent. So from this paycheck on the 30th, that much is going to be allocated to my rent, and then I'll pay my rent and be done with it. This paycheck is also going to pay for Patreon because that's the next paycheck. So pretty much this end of the month paycheck becomes like my beginning of the next month paycheck, if that makes sense. Like it pays all of the bills at the beginning of the next month. And then I know that I have this much that I want to pay for Discover and so on and so forth. So everything here, those are all things that are going to come out of this paycheck to pay these bills in January. Now there is going to be money that comes out of this paycheck for some of these things at the beginning of February, but it'll be for February. So for January, this paycheck is really only going to pay these things. And then in February, but like, okay, this paycheck is going to pay only these things for January, and then it's going to pay part of bills from February. So like I'll take out a portion for rent, but it'll be for February, and I'll take out a portion, like I'll make a payment on my Discover, which will be for February, and so on and so forth. So the concept here was like to break it up, and then I can mark it off like when I've paid it. I do almost feel like, no. Okay, I was like, I do almost feel like I need to put February in there, but that's what this is for. It's like, I know that this is for February. Everything after Progressive here, which is like the last bill that I have due in January, everything after that, these are for February. I hope that makes sense. It took me a while to figure out how I wanted it to work, so yeah. But that's kind of the concept there. So then when I get to like this January 31st paycheck, so I don't know how much this is going to be as of right now, but I'll have that. And then again, I'll want to put some aside for groceries. I think I am going to use this section for sinking funds too, but I don't always contribute to every sinking fund every paycheck, so I have to decide like which ones I want to focus on for January, and I didn't get that far. But so I'll have whatever my income is there, and then groceries and sinking funds. And then the bills for the 31st paycheck will be kind of, they'll fall in the same line as these bills. like as what's here. So it'll be Patreon, rent, discover. So it's pretty much just like a rotating cycle of like, you're gonna pay this, and now you're gonna pay this, and then this check is gonna pay this, and this check is gonna pay this, and it just rotates on forever and ever, I feel like. That's really honestly how it feels sometimes. So I guess I need to look, what's the first payday in February? The 15th. So yeah, everything, again, it'll be everything up until, it'll be honestly the same. So it'll be the same over and over, but it'll be nice to have like specific sections to like mark those off. So like when I get paid on the 30th and I pay my rents, like I can mark off like, okay, that's paid. When Patreon goes through, like, okay, that's paid. And I can do the same thing over here, but like this one will be for not until the 13th. And then this one, I'll have like the same type of thing here. So this one might end up being kind of repetitive, but I like that it'll break down, like I can break everything down, if that makes any sense. I really hope that this made some sort of sense. I'm not confident though, if I'm being 100% honest with you, not confident that this made any sense. It was just like, it's really hard to explain, I feel like. I don't know. Or maybe I just took so long to understand it myself that I'm like, there's no way that anyone else understands what just came out of my mouth, because I barely understand what just came out of my mouth, but I don't know. I hope that was some sort of helpful. So, I mean, I could like go in and fill all of this out right now, but I feel like at this point, I've been doing this long enough, and I feel like you understand the concept of what I'm doing. This might seem really repetitive. I'm totally aware of that. I like, the more I explain this, the more I'm like, wow, all of this is very repetitive, Sydney. But I feel like the more repetition that I have, the more likely / easier it's going to be for me to actually like stick to my budgeting goals in the new year. That's kind of my thought process behind this, is like, make this as easy for myself, maybe not easy, as repetitive for myself as possible, because I feel like I don't always have like, sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna put these pages while I speak. I feel like what happens is I get, maybe not lost necessarily, but like I will get like behind, or, you know, whatever on something, because I don't have it written out in front of me. This is something I've learned about myself. If it's written out, I'm gonna understand it a lot better. So that's kind of what I'm doing here with all of these rather repetitive pages, is making it more visual for myself than just like numbers in a spreadsheet or something like that, or numbers in like my bank account. That's kind of my process here. And like checking things off is always really satisfying to me. So if I can like check it off and be like, yep, did that, it's moved, all that good stuff, then I'm gonna feel better about it. That's my thought process there. I apologize if this video was all over the place, but that's gonna be all for me. I'm going to quit rambling now. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this, maybe got something out of this, even if it was just a laugh. But if you did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, you can hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.